Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into one of the most important concepts in AI right now, retrieval augmented generation. You've probably heard it called RAG. And trust me, it's the secret sauce that's making AI actually genuinely useful for all of us. Okay, let's just start with a super simple question. Think about this for a second. You can ask an AI like ChatGPT about pretty much anything in public knowledge, right? The history of ancient Rome, how to bake a cake. But you can't ask it, hey, what were the key takeaways from that report I wrote yesterday? Why is that? How can it be so smart about the whole world, but completely clueless about your world? Well, this isn't some kind of bug or an oversight. It's actually fundamental to how these large language models are built. It's what we call the knowledge gap. And that right there, that's the exact problem that RAG was invented to solve. So picture this. A large language model's brain, it's essentially built from a giant snapshot of the public internet, frozen at a certain point in time. It's massive for sure, but it's also generic. Your data, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. It's private, it's specific to you, and it's changing all the time. The LLM knows what is a car, but your data knows where did I park my car this morning. See the difference? That is the knowledge gap in a nutshell. So how on earth do we bridge that gap? I mean, it's not like you're going to retrain a model like GPT-4 from scratch every time you get a new email, right? No way. The real solution is way more elegant, and it boils down to this simple three-step recipe we call RAG. Honestly, the best way to think about RAG is like this. You're giving the AI an open book exam. Instead of trying to force it to memorize every single fact in your company, you just give it access to the library, your documents, your data, and you let it look up the right information right before it answers your question. It retrieves the facts it needs, and then it generates the answer. Simple as that. And we can break that down even further. Every RAG system out there, from the most basic to the super complex, follows these three fundamental steps. First, you have to prepare your library, your study materials. That's the indexing step. Then, when a question comes in, you find the right page in the book with the answer. That's retrieval. And finally, you use that information to write the answer. That's generation. So that first step, indexing, is all about creating this smart, searchable library of your knowledge. You take all your documents, your reports, emails, you name it, and you break them down into smaller, manageable chunks. Then, a special kind of AI converts each of those chunks into a long list of numbers. We call that an embedding. You can think of it as a unique digital fingerprint for the meaning of that text, not just the specific words. And this is where the magic really happens. When you ask a question, the system doesn't just do a keyword search like you would in a normal search bar. No, it converts your question into an embedding too, and then it finds the chunks of text that have the most similar numerical fingerprint. This means it can find things that are contextually relevant, even if they use completely different words. It's a search for meaning, not just for text. That is a total game changer. Okay, so that basic recipe is already incredibly powerful. But, like any good recipe, we can always add a few more ingredients to take it from just good to absolutely great. Because think about it. What happens if your question is a little vague? We all do it. The system might pull up something totally irrelevant. Or what if the real answer is scattered across a bunch of different documents, or even in different kinds of databases? This is where a basic RAG system can kind of stumble. And this is how we upgrade it. We can add a step that actually rephrases your question a few different ways behind the scenes. Just to cast a wider net, we can add a router, which is like a smart switchboard operator that decides, this question looks like it should go to the email archive, but that one should go to the sales database. And my favorite part, we can build in self-correction, where the AI literally grades its own work and says, nope, that's not good enough, and tries again. How cool is that? Now, this brings us to a huge debate that's been raging in the AI world. The newest models can handle these enormous context windows. We're talking 1 million tokens or more. That's like feeding it an entire 700-page book in one go. So if you can just give the AI the whole book at once, do you even need this whole retrieval system anymore? And it's a totally fair question. I mean, why bother with all the complexity of indexing and retrieving if you can just jam all the information into the prompt up front? Could it be that RAG is already dead? To figure this out, some researchers designed a really clever experiment. The idea was pretty simple. If these giant context windows really are a replacement for RAG, then they should be amazing at finding multiple, separate little facts inside all that text and reasoning about them. They called it the multi-needle in a haystack test. And the results? Well, they pretty much speak for themselves. When the model only had to find one needle, one little fact in that giant haystack of text, its accuracy was perfect, 100%. But look what happens as you add more needles. With just 3 facts to find, it's already slipping. And by the time you ask it to find 10 different things, the accuracy plummets. It's missing almost half of them. So the takeaway here is crystal clear. Just stuffing more information into the prompt is not a silver bullet. The AI gets worse as it has to find more things. It gets even worse when you ask it to reason about those things. And get this, there's this weird recency bias. The models are much better at remembering stuff from the end of a long document than from the beginning. So no, RAG is not dead, not by a long shot, but it is changing. The future isn't about RAG versus long context. It's about RAG plus long context. The two are actually evolving to work together in a much smarter way. You see, the old way of doing RAG was almost obsessive. It was all about finding that one single perfect, tiny little chunk of text that had the exact answer. It was fragile, it was fiddly, and if you couldn't find that one perfect sentence, you might just get nothing at all. But the new approach, oh, it's so much smarter. Instead of trying to find the perfect sentence, we use retrieval to find the perfect document. We can even create little summaries of our documents and search over those. Then we hand that entire relevant document over to the big, long context model and just let it do what it does best. Read the whole thing and figure it out. And that right there is the perfect way to sum it up. The whole philosophy is changing. RAG is no longer a microscope trying to find a single word. It's becoming a librarian, finding the right book from the shelf and handing it over to a super intelligent reader. So you see, the whole "is RAG dead" debate, it kind of misses the point. The real question, the one we should all be asking, is so much more exciting. Now that we can combine this incredibly smart retrieval with these massive context windows, just how intelligent can we make these systems? How close can we get to building a perfect research assistant that not only finds information, but critiques it, refines it, and gives you the perfect answer every single time? That is the future we're building right now.